Well, since I see I miscounted the turns, the other way to do it, just look inside there. Look for a 1mm opening in your carburetor. And that's where your idler screw should set. So mine's a 1mm opening. And that's the other way to do it. So now to put your low speed needle back in, which is the long one right here. Sometimes I like putting a little dab of mineral oil on the O-ring, making a nice good seal. And I'm going to screw this one all the way in. Now it's all the way in. I'm going to take it 3 turns out. 1, 2, 3. Now let's reassemble your gas inlet. Take this, screw it into the top. Now, just like before when taking it off, take a pair of pliers. And snug it down. Adjust your gas line to where it was in the first place, so it's easy to get back in, your gas line back in. Now, like before, put a drop of mineral oil on the gasket, or the O-ring, and screw this one all the way in too. Now I'm going to back it out 3 turns. 1, 2, 3. Now it's time to put the dust boot back on. Just slip it over. Pop it back on to seal right there. Again, check for that 1mm opening. It will be a little bit more now because you put the dust boot on and it tends to want to stretch out. But when you push it in, it should only go to a 1mm opening for idling. Now, put back on your control arm. I find where the set screw was before. And I take my Allen wrench. I snug it down. Now all left to do is put your air cleaner back on and get a zip tie and zip tie it back on, and there you have a rebuilt carburetor. Thanks for watching my videos. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to reassemble your carburetor. If you're following up on my previous video on how to disassemble your carburetor, you should have cleaned it and gotten it all, put all the O-rings back in if you used carburetor cleaner or just used compressed air. So the first thing I always do is I always like putting this valve back in. So to do this, as you may recall if you watched my how to disassemble a nitro motor, I use mineral oil. This is like a universal oil. It's also non-toxic, but it could be used on anything basically. I like using it because if I'm going to be putting my hands on oil, I prefer it not to be lethal. So you make sure your idle screw slot, which is right there, lines up with that line right there for your idle screw to set in. So I like putting that in there. Now I take my idler screw, place it in there, and start screwing it in. If you may have recalled from my previous video, I counted 9 turns out, so I'm going to put it 9 turns back in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One other thing, don't be afraid to comment or ask questions about anything. Just leave them at the bottom on the comment page and click the like button to show that you care about these videos, and just go on RCing. Thanks for watching my videos again, and this was the rebuild of the carburetor.